it's not really one of those like, oh, you're such like a forgiving and kind, omniscient being. It's more like, please don't rain flying sharks on us.
Hello everybody, my name is YujimboXD and welcome to the channel. And today we return to episode 4 of Sea of Bones, a homebrewed 5th edition game of Dungeons & Dragons. Now with DM face camera, so you don't have to look at my mug the whole time. This is a homebrewed 5th edition game of D&D. We'll be using Roll20 for the duration of the campaign. For those who don't know, Roll20 is a website that is used to host a variety of role-playing games like Dungeons & Dragons, and has the tools we need to play a tabletop game online when meeting in person just isn't possible. But first, if you are new here, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the subscribe button, and if you want to see us live, you can check us out here on YouTube or over on Twitch. Links are in the description. Alright, let's get into the video. Hello everybody, welcome back. We are doing more D&D. This is episode 4 of Sea of Bones.
Alright, let's begin. Good evening, bonjour et bon bon. Welcome back to Sea of Bones, a 5th edition Dungeons & Dragons game written and hosted by me, Matt Krolikowski. Commenters, likers, and X-Men will also recall I personally petition PepsiCo perpetually for sponsorship from Mountain Dew. So I hope they do what I want them to do and sponsor us. Smile and point to bottle of Mountain Dew. Otherwise, this show, like my masturbation, is privately funded, so you can't find me on OnlyFans. When we last left our laudatory legends, they had successfully recovered a weapon cache for former arena fight promoter turned bouncer Biggs. In turn, Biggs got them a meeting with his boss and former leader of Saltspire, Scarlet DeRay. Scarlet and the group lacked sufficient strength to take on the Black Coin cult directly on the island. Scarlet and her crew would remain on Saltspire, distributing weapons and recruiting for the future uprising. Our heroes would use an ancient passageway hidden at Mawstone Island called the Umbral Maw, which allowed them to travel through the Underdark. Sneaking along through hidden tunnels and underground passages, they hoped to find a nearby cult fortress and catch them off guard and reduce the possibility of reinforcements back on Saltspire. While exploring these twisted, tortuous pathways, they encountered a community of strange, intelligent creatures where we now find ourselves. Several of you were able to perceive that the mushrooms were in fact moving, and you saw the myconids, as they're called. And up the other cavern, there were several large creatures. One that appeared like this, with a kind of larger head structure, and then several smaller ones. There are other creatures that are with her. I believe they had also said a phrase in Sylvan, and Sibo had used his magic instrument to quickly cast comprehend languages and was able to determine that the large creature was saying, "Come no closer," or halt. And that's where we begin.
Whoa, you guys, wait. We can't go any further, guys. They said to stop. Okay, we're gonna hold here. Can you understand what I'm saying? I say it in common. There sounds like they're speaking Sylvan, you guys.
Well, Sibo, no one else in the party speaks Sylvan, so they weren't even aware she was speaking. And I believe comprehend languages only allows you to understand what's spoken to you. It does not allow you to speak the language. Myconids, as you had approached them initially, had projected to you an image of the myconid colonies slowly generating spores, and the spores growing larger, and myconids sort of harvesting this mushrooms. Then, once you all observe the other creatures, if somebody wants to roll Arcana, Nature, or I'd even allow History, Jareth, you at least are able to detect that the creatures up the other tunnel are probably most closely related to a Formian, but Formians, as you recall them, were very large, almost as big as centaurs. These are smaller. The female there is probably about as big as you or Sibo.
So it's a small creature?
Yeah, this one is small, and these are probably small to tiny. They're probably not much bigger than a house cat. And the myconids generally range in size from about probably knee height on Willie to about as tall as Jareth or Sibo, or just slightly taller than that. Sibo, you don't know. You know it's an Underdark species. You're probably not on the surface, but beyond that, you don't know much. However, Sibo does take note of some crystals that are tucked away up here that do look a little more familiar. If you want to try again with Nature or Arcana, Sibo, and Jareth or anybody else can do Arcana as well.
That's 16.
Sibo, those crystals, they look similar to the crystals you saw Lady Sansa using in the Primal Cauldron.
Holy shit, Jareth, are you seeing what I'm seeing?
And Jareth, you know that at least one of them definitely is a crystal that would function in the primal cauldron. So the smaller creatures here, you notice that there were probably several dozen more clinging to the walls that you didn't realize. When they realize you're not coming up the tunnel, they begin to make their way back down here into their various caverns, and just the large one and like 2 or 3 guards stays nearby. And they just sort of observe you. She could tell you understood her enough that she, you know, they didn't just attack.
All right, I will relate to these creatures that I respect their space.
They appeared not to understand common.
And they didn't reply because he said that they don't really understand it. So I tried Gnomish.
You're a bard. Why don't you just perform for him? Do an interpretive dance.
That's, oh my God.
That's actually a realistic possibility. Not being a jerk, but let me do this 2-part. Kaz has rolled the nature of 20. So number 1, a lot of insects, especially bees, communicate through dance. So using some sort of interpretive dance, you might actually try and communicate. Second, Kaz, with your knowledge of nature, 2 pieces. First, the myconid. These myconids have grown somewhat larger than myconids generally have been observed in the wild. So that's kind of interesting. But the thing that your nature check tells you is those are in fact formians, but they're very different formians than you've ever seen before. They're much smaller than formians have ever been before. Generally, as we stated earlier, formians are about the size of a horse, a centaur. So these are way smaller than that. The other piece that Kaz is able to tell you all is that normally formians are quite hostile with everything and are generally a very dominating race trying to take over. They try to build huge underground cities and then just kill everything else needed. These formians are like not just killing the myconids here. Like they could easily rush and kill the myconids in seconds, but they're not.
Sibo, I don't think they understand what you're saying. They definitely don't speak common. They're more like formians, so they probably speak like Sylvan and Undercommon.
Well, unfortunately, Kaz, I only know Gnomish and Common. I get it, your interpretive dance idea, it might work. I could try it. And I pull out my lute. I begin to strum on the lute, and I begin to interpretively dance. I'll pose a question with curiosity, cocking my head to the right, almost like a dog. I want to convey friendliness.
We're going to do 2 things. I need a performance from Sibo. Jack has triggered a telepathic memory or connection for everyone, which will resolve in just a second. What I will say is because you have comprehend languages, I'll give you advantage.
It's a 19.
After seeing Sibo's interpretive dance for the word ally, the guards return back down their respective tunnels and don't seem to have any further concern. And the queen simply nods and then returns back to her tunnel. They appear to have believed your ally comment. Jack had reached out telepathically to the myconids. When he reached out to the myconids, of course, communicate as a sort of hive mind through telepathy. And Jack asked, what's the interaction between the 2 colonies? So the myconids show you an image of the myconid spores blowing down the tunnel. You see the colonies starting to establish. You see the formians come and begin to try and eat the myconids. And of course, the myconids are panicked and feared. And the myconids begin offering other plants that they're able to cultivate in these tunnels instead for the formians, so the formians don't eat them. And then the formians, in exchange for not eating them, begin to drag up, as part of digging their tunnels, they provide water to the myconids. But you see lately that the water has stopped coming, and the myconids have stopped being able to grow their plants. And the myconids show you that further in the tunnels, you had sort of passed by the area earlier. You saw webs, and the myconids are afraid to venture any further to try and find a new source of water. The formians are not allowing them access to the water because they won't provide them any more food because they can't. So the myconids say they can't get the water here, and they can't go here for the water because they're afraid of the spiders, so they're basically going to get eaten by the formians soon.
So it sounds like our bug friends here have a bit of a spider problem, and it might be clogging up the tunnels from the sounds of it.
They also have a formian problem who's keeping them hostage from getting the water.
Because let's be real, spiders wouldn't care about eating the mushrooms.
Yeah, but if we return their water source, maybe they'll give us something as a reward. I say, kind of like head gesturing towards the big old gem.
That's actually a really good idea, Jareth. I think that we should try to go towards the spiderweb, see what that issue is, and then make ourselves some new friends.
Kaz, why don't you go ahead and make an insight check? So, Kaz, you suspect or can deduce that the crystals here are probably probably just a happy byproduct of the Formian life and their life cycle. The Formians don't seem to eat them, and you're not sure what they're doing with them. You would almost surmise that the Myconids are bigger and the Formians are smaller because of the magic from these crystals. The Formians don't care about them, and you could even maybe one day come back and get more.
So, if we help them clear the water source by the spider webs, will they give us some of those crystals?
I mean, I think if we ask, but I think our next course of action is to find out the water problem. I think we should fix the water problem.
That's
and
right,
then...
you guys are medieval Underdark plumbers.
Well, we're just going to assume they'll give us the crystal, but I think they will. I got a good feeling about them.
Have you been eating any of the shrooms?
No, but this air tastes like purple.
I think that we should just backtrack a little bit, and then we'll find those caves, and we should just press on. Kill us some spiders, get the water flowing, and Kasurga is walking. All right.
And from here, we're going to use the initiative order just because that's the dungeon exploration mechanic we're using.
Kasurga is just going to lead the way to the area that he remembers seeing in the vision, because he passed spider webs coming down. I am fine taking the lead. Cass just likes taking the lead.
The party can move up with Kaz, but as Kaz reaches the first set of spider webs, I'm going to assume it's Jack, because he's the one who last mentioned them in the party. Jack, out of your belt, out of your backpack, you hear the sound of someone knocking on a microphone and high-pitched feedback whine, and then you hear Wagluff. Yes, are you there? Hello? You hear the sound of a microphone jostling, and then Lady Sansa comes on. It's all right, everyone. Captain De Rey, when she heard Wagluff was aboard our vessel, immediately sent someone to retrieve him. I went back and took Wagluff to her, and now I'm waiting at the cult's island out of view for you, but my master insisted on speaking to you. Yes, Sansa, I had to speak to them because when we were coming, they spoke of the Underdark, and they did not understand. Magic in the Underdark does not always function as it's intended, and you should be very cautious with your spells.
It gets a little wild down here?
Yes, unfortunately, the magics that infuse the stones of the earth in the Underdark often are not what your magics are used to, and so they interfere with the ability of casters who go down to the surface. Underdark wizards often find that problem when they turn to the surface. That's why you will often find them trying to create their spells at night.
I'll keep that in mind, I say, not thinking about how I don't actually understand how my magic works in the first place anyway. I'll pass the word around.
Yes, good. And Sansa will be waiting for you after you make yourselves breakfast. Sansa and Wagluff wanted you all to know, apparently, Scarlet de Rey found out about Wagluff being on the ship and took Wagluff into her protection. All right, Kaz, you reached the aforementioned spiderwebs. It is your turn.
How bad are the spider webs in this area?
They're thick. Basically, everything that you see here in spiderwebs counts as difficult terrain because of the spiderwebs.
Just throw your fire bolts at it, as Sibo yells from the back.
When did you ever see me throw fire before?
I don't know.
What makes you
Figure
think
it
I can
out.
even summon fire?
If the issue is fire, I can provide fire.
Well, burn these webs down then.
Oh, that's gonna be a bad idea.
I was going to cast Create Bonfire.
Hey, Jareth, can you go ahead and roll me a D100, buddy?
Oh god, what, the wild magic table? Fuck!
All realize that the proximity to the nearby magical crystals has probably amplified the effect, and that's when the bonfire becomes a literal fireball spell and explodes. Basically, what happened is the spell got transmuted and amplified, and instead of creating a bonfire, it made a huge roaring ball of fire. It's coming down this way.
You need a deck save?
Yes, from Jack, Kaz, Sibo, and Jareth. Kaz and Jareth easily leap out of the flames with their flight powers. Jack and Sibo unfortunately get hit. Jack and Sibo take 14 fire damage, and
The other guys still take half.
I take 7 damage. I am resistant
Unless you have
to fire.
resistance.
you also hear from further down this tunnel a skittering, crying noise.
Nice! We hit some of the fucking spiders.
Cool.
Good job, you pissed off the spiders.
You notice that the lingering effect, of course, is that the fires continue down the tunnels, burning the webs as you go. Now we can do formal initiative rolls.
Oh, guys, what the fuck?
It wasn't cast, but I'll let him take the blame for it.
No, why are you blaming me?
I just assumed it was you because you were the front.
I'm just not going to say anything. Not going to correct him.
Come on, on, Kaz. You should have known better. Ow!
All right, Sibo, it is your turn.
First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to step back to right here. I will hold an attack action for a vicious mockery whenever I see a creature.
Okay, so we'll go on next to Willie.
So, do I see any fire?
This tunnel here has light, and this tunnel has a lot less light, but there's still light of clearly webs burning.
Can move here without issue. Anything within range or melee?
Nothing immediate next to you.
Then I'm just going to ready up.
Okay.
So, axes in hand.
Ah, there's.
Have the axes in hand.
Days Araignée. Okay, Kaz, your turn.
Well, first of all, Sibo, I don't throw fire spells, so that wasn't me. Cass is going to then turn from Sibo, look at the spider down the hall, charge up the energy in his body as it goes down his arm into his hand, and he throws a chaos bolt as he shouts, "Chaos Missile!" So I'm casting a level 1 spell, Matt.
Yep, go ahead and cast.
I mean,
That's
for
a hit, and roll a d100, and your damage.
Oh.
All right, how much damage?
8 points.
Yep.
Yes.
The spider is dangerously hurt from it, but it turns out that your Chaos Bolt is not cold. It turns to thunder damage.
I just look back at Sibo. See? Thunder. Still on brand.
Jack, your turn.
Here's an Eldritch Blast. What does it turn into? Shall I roll D100 and find out?
Yes, sir. And what's your damage, Jack?
15 force.
Boom, you
Nice.
splatter the spider against the wall. All right, is that your turn, Jack? Because you moved an attack?
Yeah.
Okay, Jareth. The cavern also, for your benefit, Jareth, because I know you can, the cavern is still tall enough. It's about 15 feet here. You could fly above Jack and Willie and still be in the same square, basically, but with elevation.
Okay, I'm just going to put my character here because I don't want to put on top of Willie's.
I
So
have- I
I'm
have-
going to cast Flaming Sphere.
Sphere.
Where the dead one was.
Where the dead one was?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. So I'll tell you what. Let's just use the dead
Oh.
spider's icon to represent. Here, we'll
Sure
do...
about that?
A flaming spear.
Yeah, look, I put it red and orange. So now you can have your 5-foot sphere.
Well, there's your D100.
All right, your flaming spear summons as intended.
All right, so I use the bonus action of Flaming Sphere to then just slam it down the hallway.
All right, so bowling for spiders.
It would stop at the first spider hit, so it would move 1 square. So it must make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
Of 15.
Yes.
It does not. Bad spider.
And then it's 2d6 fire. 6 fire damage.
The spider is pretty burned by the flaming sphere. Is that your turn, Jareth?
Yes, that is my turn.
All right, Sibo.
Alrighty, Sibo will dust himself off. He'll move 5. He'll slide underneath Kasurga's legs. Sorry about the mix-up, Kasurga. I didn't mean it. And stop here. And I will cast Cure Wounds on myself. So that's 9 points of healing.
Need to roll a d100.
Bit of
All right, your spell heals with no problem.
Just staring at the floor, shaking my head. I'm gonna die.
All right, and then I'm just gonna bonus action inspiration you, Willie, and that's my turn.
Okay, Willie, it's your turn. Try and move there, Willie, so you're not ending next to the flaming sphere, because you will take damage.
I'm good
I
where I'm
mean-
at then? I'm able to get there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That won't provoke an attack of opportunity, and you will not have to deal with the flaming sphere.
Yeah, you do not want to end your turn next to it.
Alright, well, I'm gonna attack this one here. Finish him off.
Hack at the spider's abdomen, chopping pieces away, but it's still clinging to life just barely.
And second attack.
You chop the spider into pieces because you have axes. And
Alright.
I'm just going to move the body over there so it's a little clearer for everybody to get to. Willie, that's your
One
turn?
down. Yep, that's all I can do.
Spiders. All right,
Yeah, I
we've
know.
got 2 spiders attacking Willie. 1 spider critically misses and slams itself into the wall. The
Don't
other
say.
spider, yep, that's a hit. Willie, you take 1 piercing damage, and you must make a Constitution saving throw.
That'd be easy, or
You
not.
pass, and you take 2 poison damage. That is the spiders. Kasurga.
Cass is going to air burst down the hallway with flight, land, and then call out lightning whip and try to grab this spider here.
Go ahead and roll your D100. Okay. The spider fails his save horribly. This spider.
You're,
Yes.
Yeah.
You succeed, and the spell does its damage. However, the spider, instead of being pulled 10 feet, gets pulled 20.
And if you would kindly roll it forward 1 square to the left, not next to Willie, but the other square, it will stop rolling. That spider will need to make a dex save.
He fails it.
7 points of fire damage. And do I have line of sight on this spider here?
Yeah, that corner I don't think would be obstructing you.
I will Eldritch Blast that spider down the hallway.
That's a hit. 14 force damage. You splat a spider completely.
That is my turn.
And now we go to Sibo.
So
Everybody's
for my
back?
turn, I'm going to bonus action inspire Kasurga, and I'm going to shoot a crossbow bolt at this little shit right here.
Miss.
That's an 8. Oh, I'm fucking this up, you guys. And then I'll move 15 feet right there. That is my turn. Willie, you're up, bud.
Okay, Willie.
Attack this guy.
10.
Hot
Fighter
knock.
is badly injured from that.
You can add a d6 to it.
That's
do
a
more
hit.
damage.
And Willie kills it.
That'd be my turn.
Okay. Les des araignées. 2 spiders attack Willie. Both spiders miss. 1
Yay.
spider attacks Sibo and hits Sibo. You take 1 piercing damage, and you need to make a Constitution saving throw. You make the
They didn't
save.
leave the fireball.
You still
That's
take
easier.
4 poison damage, so you take 1 piercing for poison.
It
1, 2,
bit me.
3, 4. Oh, we had to resolve the flaming sphere of
Yeah.
the spider. Ends its turn next to it. It must make a dex save.
Yes.
It still takes half damage, right? Roll
Not
the
that you
damage.
have-
1 damage. All right, Kaz, your turn.
I acknowledge the spiders that are charged me down the hallway, but I hear Sibo whimpering behind me, screaming out that he's been bitten. I turned around and see the spiders bearing down on Sibo. Not today, little buddy. We'll send a shattering boom down the hallway.
All right, I need a D100.
Make sure the shatter stays a shatter.
Aha! Instead of being shatter, it turns into acid damage. And these spiders are being burned by a cloud of acid. And roll your damage, but they take half.
The damage was 18.
So half is 9. This
Yep.
spider, like the Wicked Witch, I'm melting, dissolves in a pool of acid. Kaz, is that your turn?
Yes, although he's a bit surprised as to why there wasn't a thunderous boom.
Jack, your turn.
Okay. This scythe has 10 feet of reach.
That's a hit. That was on this one, yeah?
Yep, it's the only one I can
And
reach.
it's kill?
That's all dead now. That's my turn.
All right, Jareth.
So can you move my flaming sphere here and just have it deck this spider here so it makes a deck save?
He makes it, so half damage.
Mm-hmm.
Or that spider is near death.
I guess I will just try and Eldritch Blast it then. Try and help Willie, since he seems to be in immediate danger.
I'm fine.
I'm rescuing you. Stop resisting. All right, there
But
is.
I don't need mouth to mouth. I can breathe. My heart's fine.
Does a 12 hit?
No.
Do I still have to roll a D100?
Yes.
Okay, there you go.
Ooh. Instead of just being a blast of energy, it turns into lightning, but it appears to fizzle out against the stones of the walls.
Well, that is my turn. So,
So,
Alrighty. Well, Sibo will pull out his loot. He will level it towards this creature here. The only good bug. And then you hear his voice begin to boom. Is a dead bug. Vicious mockery. 1 point of psychic damage.
isn't that a spell?
It is.
Yeah, so we need a D100 before I finalize the damage. Oh, 16. Spider heals to full.
Fuck. I move 5 feet, and
Into the
that's my
wall.
turn.
All right, Willie.
So, this guy here.
That's a hit.
Yeah, anymore.
It is badly injured.
Inspiration.
It is near death. That's a hit and 10 damage. You kill it. Willie, is that your turn?
Yep.
Okay. Lay spiders are going for Kaz. So 2 hits, one of which is a critical and a miss. Critical is 7 piercing damage, and then the con save. And then the other one is 2 piercing damage and the con save. So it is just 2 poison damage there.
So that's-
a total of 4 poison and 8 piercing. And the 2 spiders attack Jack. Miss, hit. Jack, you take 2 piercing, and I need a constitution save. That is
I got health.
6 poison damage.
Oh, play
And
the poison
Kasirga,
damage.
your turn.
Okay, well, Kasurga is on death's door. So what's the rule on drinking a potion? We can use it as a bonus action.
Bonus action.
yes,
Yep.
we
Yes.
home ruled it that way.
Honestly, I don't even know if drinking a healing potion would save me. So instead, with a burst of energy of the air around me, Kasurga bursts 10 feet back without provoking any attacks of opportunity from any of the spiders. And then he is going to send a shattering boom down the hallway, which will hit all 3 spiders.
ND100.
Okay,
Yeah,
spell
there's
goes
all
off, and 14 damage. Okay, so 1 is splatted instantly, and 2 are pretty injured by it. Okay, Kaz, done.
Yes, that was bonus and action.
Jack's turn.
So, you know what? Fine. Whatever. I'll cast the spell. Mirror image. So,
The
Matt,
spider.
what happens?
Well, remember before sure how Kaz was hoping that he had a shattering burst of thunder? Instead, you do, and it's a bolt of lightning. Basically, an arcs through this whole hallway. So the 4 spiders, Jareth and Jack, have to make reflex save. The 4 spiders are completely shocked into smoldering ruin. Nothing but twitching legs.
Pretty much.
Jareth takes 21 lightning damage.
Jeez.
As Jareth gets zapped by the lightning from Jack's incorrectly functioning spell, he pulls the flaming spheres forward and kills the last spider. If you guys want to move around the spider cavern freely, you may. There's one hallway up here and there's one hallway up here.
I'm not going to directly poke and prod around, but I can use Mage Hand to poke and prod around for guffins.
So how about we get active perception? You're searching. Here is
That's a
your loot. Willie, tucked into this corpse right here, you also get right there.
So it's another one of these puzzle pieces.
Correct. So you guys, again, freely explore the spider area. You can go north out of the spider area or south. South leads you back towards more tunnels that you have yet to explore. North, basically, if you go back that way, that takes you to a tunnel you've already been to. All right, now as long as you guys don't go raging down the tunnels, feel free to move without the initiative order. We can just continue exploring. Just don't go fucking crazy.
Well, I say we keep going north because we had a vision of that we saw the water coming in, and we haven't been in the south tunnel yet, so it has to be in the north.
All right, well, Circuit, did you want to lead the way again, or are you still fucked up?
So we didn't find the water yet.
Correct.
All right. Cass calls out from up ahead. I remember this tunnel. There's spider webs down here.
Kaz and Sibo, you both hear the sound of water rushing or water move, probably from somewhere over here. It looks like there's some rocks piled up, maybe?
Is there water coming from the rock?
No, you can hear water flowing, but you don't see any water. There's no water.
I could attempt to shatter the rocks and get that water flowing again.
Give me a second.
I'm gonna just stand back here if you're gonna do that.
Maybe we do something not magic required, like trying to lift the rocks. Hey,
Hey,
Willie.
Willie.
Okay. Can I
will
aid
give-
Willie in lifting this rock?
Absolutely.
And I give Willie one of my inspirations so that he can use it for the skill check.
I'll give out a guidance. Everybody gets a guidance.
Can I check out the rocks to make sure they're rocks?
Go ahead and make a perception check, Willie. They're big, they're heavy, they look like any kind of big rock you've ever seen. Willie, may I add, there does not appear to be any traps.
Oh, well, that's good. Works out for me. All right, what am I doing?
Strength, or if you'd really like, athletics would probably be better than strength.
Don't matter.
Well, remember, you
You
get
have
you get
advantage
advantage,
because
so you get to roll again.
And you have my +4.
and you have my +6.
And my axe. He moves the rock slide
Yes.
out of the way. You hear very loud now, everyone, the sound of rushing water coming from ahead of you in a cavern. You see here a shrine of some kind, and then there's a large pool of water that appears to be deeper than this map in Roll20 would suggest.
A shrine, you say?
Yes,
Should we try to identify it? I do have religion trained.
by all means. Does
8.
anybody else have religion, or I'd allow history or arcana? This is a shrine to the goddess Umberlee, the sea bitch, as she's called. She's the goddess of the sea. Sailors pray to her.
I got some news, guys. This is a shrine.
No.
To the-
Sibo, it's a shrine? I couldn't
It's in
tell.
fact a shrine. I know how we're not very culty people, but
You happen to know who it belongs to.
I do. I was hoping you would ask. It revolves around the goddess Umberlee.
Cool. I have no idea who that is.
They call her the sea bitch.
What's she doing underground?
There are seas underground.
Yes, but would the sea god upstairs be the one for the downstairs?
Perhaps
You all don't have enough knowledge of religion or Underdark knowledge to know that.
we just have to roll with the punches, guys. I don't see anything of immediate danger. Probably wouldn't want to touch anything.
Well, if they went all the effort to put it down here, I assume they know better than we do. So this probably works.
So the shrine itself is really not much more than about a 5-10 foot stone dais. There's a coral carved statue, so you can see there's some coral here on the map. Anyway, there's a small statue of Umberlee, the goddess, in like a wave coming out, and there's a small bowl with what appears to be some dried herbs. Maybe they look long since dried. This shrine doesn't appear to have been visited in some time. There's a heavy layer of dust on it.
Would I be able to roll a history based on things I could have overheard while sailing the seas?
Yeah, oh god, yes, especially as a sailor. I'd even say you have advantage automatically.
Nope.
Wow, our party just does not know shit about religion or history. Most people really don't worship Umberlee because they like her. They mostly worship her out of fear. It's the kind of thing like, oh God, I have to go to sea. I hope Umberlee's kind to me this time.
Yeah, it's not really one of those like, oh, you're such like a forgiving and kind, omniscient being. It's more like, please don't rain flying sharks on us.
Apparently, one of the former kings of Cormyr was quoted as saying, coins are what matter, and to earn coins, one needs roads, or the love of Umberlee, because, of course, she controls the sea routes. Though, you notice deeper inside the water, as you guys are all kind of exploring, there's one stone in particular that appears different. It appears to be the same stone as the shrine, but down in the water.
You guys see this shit over here? Look at it. I point it out. I mean, it's obviously made of the same crap as the shrine, but I mean, I'm not jumping in that water.
Cass jumps in.
So it's athletics to swim down. You swim down, no problem. You see that it is like a stone block that you're gonna have to like pick up and move to get what's underneath. That's why it looks different. It was clearly intended to be here. Like someone deliberately put this stone block. And Kaz, you know that something is gonna happen when you pull that stone up, and it may not be good.
That's where we leave it on a cliffhanger?
Sure.
So we have the big mystery stone to lead off next time.
All right, the party continued their exploration of the Underdark tunnels. They discussed with the Myconid and Formian colonies to work out a potential deal by eradicating spiders and restoring access to clean water. The party has found a source of clean water, but inside the source of clean water, there is a large stone block that was clearly placed there for something. And Kaz is determined when he moves it, it's going to make an effect, but he doesn't know what, and it may not be good.
So we'll see what pulling the big plug does next time. But yeah.
Sea of Bones!
We'll do it. Bye-bye.
Sibo loves all of you. I love you long time.
If you stuck around to the end, thank you so much. If you like what you saw, you can always hit that subscribe button down below. Have a good night, everyone.